We did it. We finally did it, folks. 700 subscriber milestone.
Congratulations! 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 Congratulations!
I'm coming for you, 1,000 subscribers. Don't worry, I'll get there eventually, hopefully.
You can do it!
Thank you very much to all of you who actually subscribed to my channel, but a special, magnificent and appreciable thank you to those of you that choose to watch my videos and choose to support me whenever you see a new video up.
You know who you are.
And thank you kindly to all of you people who've checked out my channel and lurked to watch my videos, help me just get my channel in the algorithm so it gets shown to other people, which is what I really want. I really want to spread my love, my message across the globe, and that message is just to keep retro gaming alive, building myself a wonderful community of like-minded gamers from all different countries so we can just talk gaming, retro gaming, nostalgia, whatever, you know, all that good stuff. So that's what I'm hoping to actually achieve in my videos. So with that being said, I did actually post my little message on my YouTube community tab and on my X/Twitter. So at least I actually did get a few questions, and that is from Pal Block Gaming. And I'll be answering your questions just in a few seconds, pal. And thank you very much for actually, you know, choosing to ask me some questions. Now, this isn't going to be one of those where I'm just going to answer it in a very brief manner. I want to make this video go on a little bit so I can just really talk about stuff that I love, which is games and the games that I love. And I'll get to that question in just a few moments, but I'd just like to extend my appreciation for those of you that helped me get this far. You know who you are. Those of you that comment on my videos, leave genuine good comments, and for those of you that like my videos, you're all appreciated. Thank you so much. I can't thank you guys enough. Right, so we're all on this journey together. It's not just me like being selfish saying, yeah, give me all the views. No, I'm not that type of person, right? I'm speaking real for the moment. I'm not like those other people that just who are feel entitled for all the views and stuff, and the quality of their videos somehow get a lot of traction, but yet the quality seems super thin. But in any case, we're not going to talk about that nonsense. We're here to answer some questions, which I did say in my community tab post that there's going to be a Q&A, and here it is right now for you.
Okay then, on with the show.
So we have our only question from Power Block Gaming, who asks me, I believe, what is your top 5 favorite retro games and your favorite 5 least retro games? So I've actually got them written down here in a specific order. So this to me basically feels like a top 10, like my 5 most favorite and my 5 least favorite in a top 10 sort of format. If I was to say all the video games I've played, that would be very, very difficult for me to, you know, think about, because of the fact there's so many, and it would be kind of harsh to me putting the games with least experience I played at the very back, which does make sense. But I need to play the games more. And when I've got plenty of them over there, as you can clearly see, a lot of them over there. See that gorgeous collection there? That's mine. I got that.
Yes, you did.
So, on my list here, so starting at 10th place, Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior. One of Capcom's finest games. Street Fighter 2, I think it may have been the first fighting game I ever played. So the first beat 'em up I believe I played was actually the first Streets of Rage, and that game takes me back to the early Mega Drive days. Absolutely awesome, outstanding game that is. But Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. So it was the only game that I had completed with Chun-Li. Literally, I tried all other characters. I remember playing that game back in the day. We had a SNES back in the day when I was living in London growing up. Playing that, I really wanted to beat Vega. Vega was the biggest obstacle for me in that game. It wasn't even in Bison. It was actually Vega, because he kept climbing up that little net. He was always climbing up and he always jumped down on you. And I figured out that Chun-Li can actually jump off the walls, and using just combating that and, you know, counter-attacking it was really, really good. I actually really loved the music and the gameplay in Street Fighter 2, despite the CPU being cheatified. Honestly, those early fighting games and beat 'em up games, man, it's like the CPU were cheating. literally, I've played that game a lot since then, since my childhood days, man. That game is great. So I love the music in it. I love the way the characters are designed. You know, sure you can, and I like some pound cake. It's just so funny playing on that game when you think about all the sound animations, the voice animations and stuff. Could you really understand what they were saying? That game was absolutely outstanding though, because I love the fact you got the overview hub. You know, when you go to fight different characters, you're on a plane going to different countries like USA, USSR or India and things like that. It was great. I love these special attacks. It was brilliant. I mean, I especially love the music for that one. That's what really sets it up aside for me. The music and the color coordination, it was just a blend of perfectionness when it comes to like old school standard fighting games. And Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior is my most favorite fighting edition in Street Fighter games. So most definitely at number 10th place we have Street Fighter 2 The World Warrior. Okay, here in at 9th place, and we have another fighting game, and this time it's on the Dreamcast, and you've probably already guessed it. Yes, it is indeed Soul Calibur. Soul Calibur was definitely a game changer for me. I actually really grew very fond of that game. It felt like fantasy mixed in with good old traditional fighting. I loved the way that game was designed. I loved the soundtrack for that game, and especially the game characters of how they looked. Their design was great. So I remember you've got Mitsurugi, your typical swordsman. You've got Rock with he reminds me of King from Tekken 3. There was Maxi. I used to call him Elvis Presley with nunchucks. It was just the way his hair was. It was really good. And oh my goodness, playing that game, trying to master it. I think young me back then, when I was about 9-10 years old, not too long after that came out, and would definitely give me now a hard time on that game. I tell you, I was really good at that game because I focused a lot of time on it. And that's what games did for me back in the day. I focused a lot of my attention on one game for the most time, almost part of my childhood when I actually played these games as well. I wasn't really into fighting games, but Soul Calibur and Street Fighter 2 were definitely the exceptions, along with Tekken 3. I really enjoyed Tekken 3, but it's not really my favourite. I actually prefer Soul Calibur over Tekken 3. I remember a few years ago, I think it was around about, how many years has it been? We're in 2024 now. I think it was about 9 or 8 years ago. I remember telling one of my mates who I haven't spoken to for a while, he actually laughed at me when I actually said I preferred Soul Calibur. And, he just found it amusing. I thought, well, okay, what's so funny? But he actually liked Tekken, and everything, which is more grounded and more realistic, so to speak. But I was more into the fantasy sort of thing, even though I'm saying that I actually really like Street Fighter, which still speaks volumes to me. I actually really enjoyed it. But what I loved about Soul Calibur was the fact that in that game you use weapons as well as your main point of combat. You've got Siegfried, Mitsurugi, you've got Killik, Shangfa, you've got the kinky man himself, Volder. Oh, he was kinky. Red Room of Pain, Christian Grey. You better watch out. It is Chris Grey in 50 Shades of Grey, I think it is, something like that. it's something icky like that anyway. It's really good. But, oh man, I just miss Soul Calibur. I've got it over there in my collection somewhere. I think it's one of the Dreamcast games. I think I can see it. Yeah, it's right there. I think it's above Power Stone. But yeah, Soul Calibur, absolutely immensely awesome fighting game. I cannot express just how awesome that game is. In fact, I think Soul Calibur is actually my favourite out of the Soul Calibur series, which is the first one. So, there you go. So, 9th place, we have Soul Calibur. Okay, so at 8th place, we have Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron. So, it's Toe Jam and Earl 2. I played this game. This was, I think, this may have been the second or third video game ever I actually played. So that's going way back to the Mega Drive days, and oh my goodness, playing this game, I was always Toe Jam. I always liked Toe Jam. He was red, 3 legs, 2 eyes, and the way their design was, it was so funny. The cartoonish flair you get from that. I didn't play the first one before I played the second, but I have played the first, and it's all right. But I actually love the second one more. It's more of a left to right side-scrolling platformer, which is added so much fun and funkiness to it. It was like getting these or is it the human beings have invaded their planet and they've Toe Jam and or Earl, if you can pick either one. And it is a co-op game. You can actually team up to get rid of the Earthlings, which I cannot blame them, because look at people today. In fact, don't. You're going to get depressed. Don't bother thinking about humans today. It's beyond depressing. So, I really love that game. You know, the fact that you've got the little boogeyman, you've got the little girl who kicks you, you've got construction workers, you've got cows that possess your body for a couple of seconds. And it was a very creative game, and that's what I love. The charm and the innovation of creativity. Games were games back then. The amount of passion that was involved in creating those video games. They were modern at the time, but they're retro now. But those times, they were mega awesome. Mega, I like that. But yeah, Toe Jam and Earl, I greatly recommend that game if you haven't played it already. I know they had a recent edition on the Nintendo Switch. Nowhere near as good as the second one, Panic on Funkatron, but it was actually an alright game. But Toe Jam and Earl 2, I loved it. I played it with one of my siblings growing up, and I was always Toe Jam. My sibling was always Earl. So the color coordination was fantastic. The music was actually pretty funky. The little parts where you get to dance with that little green alien with the little boot box, and you can carry on your shoulder type thing, man. Man, those were the days, man. Those were the days. But yeah, I greatly recommend Toe Jam and Earl Panic on Funkatron. Give it a try. Get yourself a Mega Drive or a Sega Genesis. I believe it's known in America. Are you American? You're American, yeah? Right, yeah, Panic on Funkatron. Great game. 7th place, and we have a PS1 game. This game is actually Rayman. Rayman. Yes, definitely one of the greatest PlayStation 1 games of all time, man. I love it when games like this were made for the time they were made for. And that screams like... See, when it even though it's in my top 10, I really adore that game, right? But there's other games on here that I actually prefer more to it. And I'm not saying Rayman... And just because it's like in my bottom 5 doesn't mean to say that it's any less valued. It is a fantastic video game. It's challenging, which it does provide that. That's definitely the fact when you've got to collect all of the Electoons from all of the cages in certain situations that require you to have pinpoint accuracy, and you really have to focus to get those as well. But the magical world of Rayman, the color, like the artistic work of it, the fact he doesn't have any limbs is creative enough. He's got a little, banana hair that spins around, and he's so full of comical moments in that game. So just like the Lion King video game, which some of us really have just triggered a lot of unwanted memories, myself included. It is challenging, but I love it. The sound design, the musical scores in that game, I cannot recommend you listening to it enough. Please go and listen to the musical scores of Rayman for the PS1. You won't be disappointed, man, I tell you. I love the variations of different worlds that game actually gave us back in the day. So you start off in the woods. So you start off with no powers, you don't have any abilities, and yet as you gradually go through the game, you eventually get your punch, your run, your hang, as if you can hang on cliffs and stuff on the edge of things, and your spinning hair and things. So I noticed that once you get the run, you can't do your tongue thing anymore, which you could actually scare one of the enemies in this game to run off in the opposite direction. Rayman is definitely one that I love. So I played it back in the day because my cousin actually owned the game Rayman, and it's just one of my most adored games, and I really love the creative charm that game gave as well. Unprecedented awesomeness. If you haven't played it, please do. Alright, so in 6th place we have the awesome Nintendo 64 game. Now, which game do you think I'm talking about? It came out on the N64, and it was early on in its lifespan.
So long, Game.
That's right. Mario 64. it's definitely Mario 64. Yeah, I mean, this game, I still remember a specific memory where little me just finished having a bath, and I sat in front of a fireplace, and I was on that level, Dire Docks. Now, can you imagine playing that game from the transition from 2D Mario to 3D on the N64, listening to the amazing score from that amazing Nintendo 64 console, going through those levels, as creative as they are and annoying as they are, with the amazing boss battles and with all those different enemies that you get to fight, jump on their heads and traverse through the entire castle just to find Princess Peach, who's actually been kidnapped for the billionth time. That game was like the cherry on the cake for me. It's like a sentimental game. In fact, quite a lot of the games that are on this list were purchased for me during my younger years, and I'm really excited. They hold a special place in my heart. So just like I said before, just because they're at the back doesn't mean to say they're valued any less. But they're in the top 10, so they're highly valued and loved, just like every other game on this list. I mean, Mario 64 was definitely a game changer for platformers as we know it. It's the undisputed kingpin, Mario, of the adventure platform games, right, genre. And that game, it haunts me. I say it haunts me because I got 119 stars. I couldn't find 120th. I think I know what level it was as well. It was that water one with the little spider on the front art thing and the art picture, and I couldn't get it. It really bugged me that I just had to get one last star. To this day, I still haven't gone back and got it. So that's why I'm haunted by it. But after all those years, thanks to the internet now these days, you actually unlock the little cannon in it outside the castle where you get to shoot Mario somewhere. And I thought, okay, if that's what it is, that's what it is. I think you find Yoshi on top of the castle as well. And it's I really want to get that. I really want to accomplish that game just by getting that last star and beating that level. I mean, I did beat it. I completed the game time and time again, you know, on several different files. That's what gaming had for me back in the day. The replay value was high. Do you find that, gaming minions? Have you had those games where you just have had high replay value? It most definitely did for me, because that's what games were about. The passion, the creativity, doing it because they love it, not being greedy with your money and focusing on all this microtransactions, DLCs and live service games. No. Forget that nonsense. We have the awesome creativity from the ground up, focused on the player experience. You know what I mean? Gaming was gaming back then. I don't think people know what I mean when I actually say gaming felt they had true games back then. You know what I mean? Although some would actually say that's still the same today. But hey, we're not talking about that. But Mario 64, oh my goodness me. I've actually reviewed this game as well with TJ the Gamer. Shout out to TJ the Gamer from Master Sword Music, man. Does awesome music. And thank you very much for providing your own sample of variation of one of the Mario songs when we actually reviewed this together a few years back. I cannot praise this game highly enough, man. Not only was it a game changer for platformers themselves, but it was just a beautiful game, and it still is. It really, really is. A lot of people speedrun it. I've seen those speedruns, jumping through the walls and whatnot. Cheaters. But I can do that in my sleep, man. I'll make you all look like nothing in terms of speedrunning. Yeah, you wish. Mario 64, love it so much. Alright, in my top 5 now, here at 5th place, I'm just have to go for it. It's an N64 game again, and it's Ocarina of Time. Yet another video game that I have actually reviewed, and I can't talk about this one more than enough. This game, oh my goodness. This was my very first Zelda game, right? It was my very first Zelda game, and compared to other Zelda games I've played, which is not many, I think I need to play more. I have played Majora's Mask, I've played Breath of the Wild, I think I've played the original, A Link to the Past, and I think I've played the other one. I can't remember which one it was. It might have been Zelda 2, I think it might have been. But I have played a few more, but I need to play a lot more than that. I need to catch up with my Zelda games. I heard the GameCube one was actually pretty good. I forgot what that game was called now, it's been a while. But this game, I loved the very moment I started playing it. Ocarina of Time really drew me in, like a really good YouTube video or like a really good movie. I mean, it's a game that I haven't completed by myself fully. I have completed it, but only with help from others. And I really want to go back on that game and put some effort in to actually complete that game. The problem was that game was scary. It was. Oh my goodness. I'll just say this. Re-Dead. Those zombies that scream in your face the moment they see you. Playing that for the first time as an 8-year-old, right, back in the day, what do you think that would have done to me when I actually played that, heard that massive scream, playing it at night? Especially when I actually do not like things like that.
Stand for life!
That's right, my soul left my body. I'm surprised it even came back. I tell you, man, Ocarina of Time was absolutely phenomenal, and it still is. A lot of people say it's overrated.
You serious?
You think what you want about that, but I don't agree. I think it's just a fantastic, brilliant game. A lot of love went into it, so much. You know what I mean? So that was also another like a big, massive transition from 2D to 3D, wasn't it? For like Link and whatnot. I never knew his name was even Link. I just named it my character for myself, and I was the hero of that. Just different skin color, you know. But yeah. Waking up in the Lost Woods and going through the Great Deku Tree, and getting rid of the curse for him. It's sadly that he passed away, the Deku Tree. The way that felt like an absolute adventure. Playing that game, I think, actually, I don't think I know, that game to me was more adventurous than Mario 64. The worlds were bigger, it was scarier, it provided a good, decent challenge, and let's not forget the musical scores for that game. Oh, Gerudo's Valley was one of them. I absolutely love that track from Gerudo Valley. Hey, for those of y'all who haven't played it, I recommend you listening to Zelda Ocarina of Time soundtrack. Go and listen to it, please. You won't be disappointed at all. But the dungeons, I love the fact of the little stones, the spiritual stones. And what was your favourite stone? For those of you watching, what was your favourite stone? Was it the fire, the forest, or the water from Lord Jabu Jabu? That was an interesting one, Lord Jabu Jabu. We actually go inside a fish. It was my least liked of the first three because I got massive. I don't like things like that. You're going inside like small spaces and stuff, and it was a creative level. You're actually inside a massive fish, but I actually preferred the Deku Tree. It wasn't so much as difficult. It was just like your first dungeon, so you actually just get to see what the game's like and get a feel for it and whatnot. It wasn't too over complicated. I liked the fire one, which was good, but you have to fight a big, massive fire-breathing dragon at the end. So, what's those rock people? I forgot what they're called. The dongos, is it? How can they eat rocks? You know, what sort of rocks did he eat? That must be very nourishing for them. Goodness me. I love the fact that game has a day and night cycle. Getting your swords, getting your shield, and going off on an amazing adventure. The ever-growing areas of Hyrule Field, man. To us, that felt like a massive Skyrim map back in the day, or like Oblivion, you know. And looking back on it now, it was like, compared to today's standards, it's pretty small, but back then it felt so vast and so awesome. I mean, once you actually got the Ocarina, where you get to transport to different places, how many of us really actually stopped walking and started to either use Epona, the horse, which was amazing on, what was it, Lulu Ranch? I forgot what it was called. Sorry, I was just, oh my goodness, yeah, oh my goodness. Defeating Ganondorf, one of the trickiest parts in that game for me was trying to get to Princess Zelda, you know, when you have to get past all the guards. I kept on getting caught and thrown out. I thought, okay, let's try it this way. Then I thought it must be a distance thing. So I had to adapt a bit, and I thought, got ya. Then I remember you have to wake up the Marin's dad, isn't it? He looks like Super Mario. I thought, is that Super Mario? Oh, it looks like him. Yeah, what's he doing in this game? So yeah, you have to get the egg, and I loved the mechanics of the way that game was. And unlike Majora's Mask, you can play it in your own time at your own speed. That's what I really loved about it as well. But Ocarina of Time, I have reviewed it, and do you know what? I really want to talk about that game some more. In fact, all of these games I mentioned and I'm going to mention, I'm really going to talk about a lot more. So I would love to. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm spending too much time on Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time, top dog game. All right, now here is another Dreamcast game. Most definitely, you should be able to guess what this is now. Some of you may not. Blue Hedgehog, Sonic Adventure. Sonic Adventure, boom. Yeah, most definitely. This feels right for me putting it in here at this point. Sonic Adventure, I actually played Sonic 2 on the Mega Drive back in the day. It was my very first video game that I actually played, Sonic 2. And what a video game Sonic Adventure was coming from that. Absolutely. You know, the VMU on the Dreamcast, you know, I forgot what that stands for, but that I remember you could use that to play with the chows. And I remember going to sleep one night when I actually got to understood how that worked a little bit in training up your chow, because you can actually do races on there, especially with the Dreamcast, you know, having online features. I blooming loved that. I absolutely loved the fact that Dreamcast had online features so you can actually play online games. Unfortunately, I never got to experience that. But I will one day. I really want to go on it. No time like the present. With the Sonic Adventure, I was definitely hooked in. Definitely hooked. I love the fact the soundtrack on that game was immensely awesome. That game I completed about 4 or 5 times. Literally, every level design was fantastic. I love the fact you get to play different characters. What is there? Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Gamma, Biggie, the Cat, Amy, which was my least favourite, or least liked, and then you had Super Sonic at the end to defeat Chaos in his final ultimate form after you trashed the city and whatnot. They had some amazing levels like the casino level. That's probably my favourite level, the casino one. I love it. It pretty much reminds me of the level from Sonic 2, the Casino Night one. That I don't know, it's just something about money, rings, and slot machines, and that just felt like it was dialed to 11. And that game was just immensely awesome. Sonic Adventure. It really did feel like another proper adventure. See, just like Ocarina of Time, this game was a little bit more faster because you're going a lot more quicker because you're Sonic, and that felt, you know, pretty much intact with who Sonic is and how his games work. And to this day, there isn't any other Sonic game that I've played that even beats it. You know, I've played quite a few, but this game, man, it just trumps them all. You learn new moves as you go along there, like the spinning dash that where you go into the rings and whatnot. The levels were vastly amazing. They were great. I kept on replaying the same levels sometimes because of the soundtrack or because I had so much fun. You know what I mean? So Sonic Adventure, oh my goodness me, what a game. What an absolutely awesome game. At this point in time, for those of you that are watching, who was your favourite character to be? Was it Sonic, or Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Biggie, Gamma? Who was it, man? I tell you, was it Gamma? Yeah, I swear it was Gamma. The E102. Well, that was his stamp, wasn't it? The E102 robot. Absolutely awesome. Sonic Adventure. Alright, and here's my top 3. And here's another Dreamcast game for you, and I have absolutely no shame in saying this. Shenmue. Shenmue. I've noticed a trend with a lot of these games, they hook you in so well. You know what I mean? Even if you're not a fan of these games, or if you're not a fan of Shenmue, I am. And I really loved exactly how this game was. It was funny, very humorous with the dialogue. The gameplay was really good. You get to learn new kung fu moves. You get to like drive forklifts. It was like a little simulation just to go to work day. It had an arcade stall area, which was absolutely awesome. It had different shops. You get to pick up different drinks and whatnot. You get to purchase food for a cat. The story hooked me in. It was all about revenge. It was really heartbreaking to see what happened. But I remember when I actually got this game, I was with one of my cousins and one of my siblings, and we was watching it together. And yeah, it was just, oh my goodness, it was so gripping. I was so involved. I was really invested. I loved that it was like, was it in the 1980s? Was it 1987? I think it was. So going back to the fact where it was quite funny, for those of you that have played it, I'm pretty sure you would have remembered one of the dialogues from a kid saying to Ryo Hazuki, hey mister, you want to play with me?
Hey.
Hey, mister! Want to play with me?
Sorry, maybe later, okay?
Can you imagine that being said today? There will be an endless uproar, and I'm sorry, people can't even handle that. We had that back in the day, very questionable dialogue. It's just the way he said it, and it was so funny. And there was that bit about the sailors and whatnot. It's just so funny. And this game, of course, was notoriously known for its QuickTime event, the QTE parts, where you had to press like a button like A, B, X or Y in terms to counter or dodge moves, or just to get through a certain cutscene to progress through the game. So the character in here, I remember, was it Naomi? Well, I forgot what her name was. She was one of Ryu's friends, and I love the fact I've played the second game and I've got the third game as well, which is it felt very similar to the first two in terms of its template of its creative engines. But that's what I love about it. Just keep it the same. Don't try and do too much with it. But yeah, I really was struck by the story. The soundtrack was great. I loved it had day and night cycles. You could actually make phone calls. That game had so much in it, and it was so ahead of its time. I couldn't even believe what I was playing, honestly. And it was a good challenge, especially fighting Gollum, who knew martial arts, and beating him in that arcade stall. I remember when I completed the first time, I lost to him. Then when I went to complete it the second time, and I kept losing, I think I lost about 20 times before I got him on the 21st time. I kept on turning off the Dreamcast and then turning it back on. I couldn't be good for the system, by the way. So I wanted to do it until I beat him. And I did. I eventually did. I was getting better slowly. I was blocking more, I was dodging, and I was hitting him, and I had to be patient. And I finally beat Gollum, who knew martial arts. I don't think that's his name. I forgot what his name was. But the story grips me, and everything about Shenmue is just an absolute blast from the past. An absolute gem. In fact, I'm probably going to review that. In fact, I'm going to. I just need to find someone to review it with who's actually a really good content creator, who's actually got passion as much as me. Shenmue. Game second. KOTOR. Knights of the Old Republic on the Ekbok. The original Ekbok. This game is the greatest Star Wars game I have ever played in my life. I cannot describe to you, any of you, how amazing the story is in this game. It's not just the story, it's also the gameplay that was very riveting, very awesome. The fact you get to choose if you want to go to the light side or the dark side, right? That was absolutely awesome. So you don't feel like it's just a specific narrative. You could actually change the way how the game goes through your choices. I love that. Your choice affects the overall story, which was absolutely phenomenal for me at the time. I was amazed at that. So pretty much all the games that you see here, I have played, or that I've spoken about, I have played time and time and time again. Even if I've completed some of them, that's what they do. If you haven't played Knights of the Republic, play it. Please do. If you're a Star Wars fan, when Star Wars was Star Wars, not this nonsense what we have today, right? Or the Force is female, or girl boss nonsense, or anything like that, ruining the story and lore of Star Wars. No! Back when Star Wars was exactly that, Star Wars. Thank you. Yeah, so Knights of the Old Republic, oh my goodness. The fact there's so many great characters. I remember that little robot that you had. There was that old Master Jedi that reminds me of Mace Windu. I forgot his name. There's so many characters I've forgotten in this game. But I know the story is like taking place of... I don't want to spoil it, so I say too much. but you have Lord or Darth Malik to fight against, and in this game he's top dog. He was a very memorable villain for me, and the fact you go around the universe or the galaxy in search of trying to, good guys trying to save the day sort of thing, and that sort of thing never gets old. But this game, oh my goodness, yes, I can't recommend this game enough. So, Knights of the Old Republic. And last but not least, my most favourite game of all time. All of you should know this, for those of you who really have actually got to know me over YouTube over the next years, or the past years. Banjo-Kazooie for the Nintendo 64. This game, perfection. Absolute perfection. You know what I mean? Simple game. Awesome soundtrack. It's beyond awesome. It's perfect. Amazing level design. Anthropomorphic things talking to you. Logo the toilet, that big sandy castle thing in Gobi's Valley. Then everything about this game spreads charm, joy, excitement, and just overall fun. Banjo-Kazooie is my most favourite game of all time, and to be honest, I don't think that's even going to change. I don't think it is. I was stuck to this game like glue on paper. It was so immersive for me. In fact, a lot of these games, pretty much a lot of them, all of them, were very immersive for me in one way or another, and I completed this game several times. And one of the most memorable moments in this game for me, and one of my favourite parts of the game, is Gruntilda's quiz at the end of it. Just before you go and fight Gruntilda, the evil boss lady who actually stole Kazooie's sister Banjo's sister, Kazooie's. I was thinking of Banjo-Kazooie, but I just said Kazooie. Banjo's sister, to steal her beauty and whatnot. Oh my goodness, yeah. I've even reviewed this, which I'm happy to say, but I really think I need to make some more content, which is coming, by the way, for all you minions that are thirsty for some amazing content. So there you have it, folks. Thank you very much, Power Block Gaming, for your questions. That's my list. What do you reckon? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Obviously, this is my list, and all these games, they're treasured. They're treasured up here and in here for me. These were part of my life. I'm pretty sure you have your own sort of top 10 lists for games that you grew up with, games that you loved, games that you felt like are in your top 10. You know what? That's great. Let's talk about it. Let's go. So thank you very much to you, Power Block Gaming. Thank you very much for those of you that really put an effort in to not only watch me, but just talk to me. Not only what you give me your amazing support, I greatly appreciate that. You know what I mean? It's great to know that there are like-minded people who are actually decent in the world who just watch your videos and just get some sort of value from them. And that's what hopefully I want to attain on here. Hopefully I can give you value for your time. So I'd like to thank you very much for all of you that have watched this video. I do apologise it went on for a bit, but I just wanted to make sure I just talk about my memories, my top 10 favourite games of all time. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if you are interested in more of my content, please go and check out everything on my YouTube channel, Dr. Virtual. I'm pretty sure you'll love my playlists. In fact, I'll probably put some on the end screen on my YouTube at the end of this video, so you can have a look at some more. Please like, comment and subscribe if I'm your type of content creator. I'm Dr. Virtual, the greatest gamer in the multiverse. Take good care of yourself, fellow gaming minions. I have finally hit 700 subscribers. Well done to me. Next goal is 1,000.